So let's get into the first topic. Cocaine Biden is a thing, apparently. Cocaine has been found at the White House. Cameras, visitor logs are searched by the Secret Service. Um, do we have to take a guess about who this might not, possibly be?
Wasn't there a party there recently?
Was there a party there? Oh, you mean like the trans party thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Or I was actually just thinking it's probably just Hunter.
I mean, yeah, it could have just been Hunter.
Yeah.
I know that but yeah, there was that trans party though, and that might have had something to do with it, like some guest or something.
But this is in the
Um,
West Wing, and to be honest, you would think that they've probably swept the West Wing. Let alone, I don't think those people at the party could actually get into the West Wing. But that you imagine they would have swept the West
oh,
Wing a few times by now. So
okay, yeah.
yeah,
I
I
don't know
think
much about the West Wing thing, yeah.
yeah. I think this is I think this is mostly going to be like I think this is most likely to be Hunter. But let's break it down. So cocaine is discovered in the White House on Sunday, and it was found in a cubby hole in the West Wing entrance area where visitors place electronics and other belongings before going on tours. A source familiar with the matter said on Wednesday. So apparently, I guess they're trying to make out that someone was going to go on tour and decided to put their cocaine in their little basket of goodies that they ask people to put keys in. So I guess now with the White House, they need to change the signs to everybody, please empty your pockets and put your phones, your wallets, your keys, and your cocaine in the basket. Yeah, maybe. Secret Service is
Unbelievable.
bring out your coke. A Secret Service is investigating the matter, the White House said. They're checking the visitor logs and looking at cameras. Um, can we just, I don't know, just calling it now. Maybe we should, look at the president's son who has a history of doing coke. I, I don't know. That seems like the
But
logical.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's a fair call. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Obviously the sources said White House spokesman Xi Jinping, I'm mispronouncing that name, said there was discovered in a heavy travelled area where many West Wing visitors come through. Come on, let's face it. No one is going to go and do a tour in the White House and bring a bag of cocaine and leave it there, right? If you're going on tour with a bag of coke, which is probably worth what 3-5 grand for a bag, depending how much is in there. Um,
Damn.
Trust me, you're leaving with the coke, right? You're not leaving it behind.
Yeah,
Um,
wow. That
but
stuff is expensive.
yeah, well, so I think it's cocaine is about $300 a line. Um, so yeah, so you're probably what? You're how many ounces in a bag? What, 3, 5, 6 ounces maybe?
Jeez.
So like, yeah, that's like a couple of grand. That's a couple of G's there. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, you don't leave that behind. Yeah.
no, that's what I'm saying. If you're like going to the White House for a tour, you're remembering to take the coke with you. Asked whether any had undergone drug testing as a part of the investigation, JP said, "We'll take any action that's appropriate and warranted, pending the outcome of the Secret Service or depending on whether it's the president's son." Possession of cocaine, which is a Schedule 2 drug in the US under the Controlled Substance Act, is a misdemeanor in Washington, D.C. Damn, it's not even a felony to have a bag of coke. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that's wow.
Wow, is all I got to say. The West Wing is attached to the executive mansion where President Joe Biden and the First Lady Jill Biden live. Okay, trust me, no one is thinking this is Joe Biden's drugs, okay? Because if it was, Joe Biden would be bouncing around those stages and not falling and tripping over sandbags. The incident, it includes the Oval Office, Cabinet Room, and the workspace for the presidential staff. Hundreds of people pass through the West Wing on a regular basis, including political staff, their guests, and members of the press. What about President's son? Where does the President's son go? I'm loving the fact that Reuters is deliberately not mentioning the son of the president. Substances found on a routine Secret Service sweep on Sunday evening, which, by the way, probably gets done on a daily basis. The Secret Service spokesman did not respond to requests for comment on Wednesday. The agency has said the agency has not said how much coke was found, but they do say it's a bag, so it's obviously a lot. So Biden did not answer questions that reporters shouted at him about the coke on Wednesday. The president thinks it's incredibly important to get to the bottom of it. I presume he's talking about the bottom of the matter and not the bottom of the coke. But, you know. The administration officials... I'm getting to the bottom of this, don't you worry. Oh, yeah, it's good shit. The administration officials are able to offer tours of parts of the West Wing to friends and family members. There we go. All right. People who are not members of staff must leave electronics and other belongings in the storage cubicles before taking a tour. Although somehow I don't think people are talking about leaving coke. But, you know. It was in one of the cubicles, the source said about the cocaine. Do you think, oh, here's a question for you. Do you think it was supposed to be a drop?
Oh. Yeah, that's a possibility, isn't it? I didn't think of that.
Biden wants...
So you think it was a dead drop?
Yeah, like, hunters, getting a little loose on the weekend, maybe partying a little bit with, some friends over at the White House. Runs out of coke, says to someone, hey, can you deliver me, $3,000, couple of ounces? The guy's like, yeah, how do you want me to give it to you? Biden says, just come and do a tour and just drop it in the bags. I'll pick it up. But
that makes sense, yeah.
Being as dopey and shitty as he is, he forgets the bags there, and Secret Service find it before he cuts to it.
Yeah, it's possible.
So, obviously, substance found in White House confirmed to be cocaine. Now, they don't say if it's crack cocaine or cocaine. There is a difference, apparently, between the two.
No, rich people don't use crack cocaine.
I don't use any of that stuff, so...
Crack is mostly used by the sort of like the poorer people, because it's like a cheap alternative. Yeah. No, so rich people don't use that.
So cocaine is the good shit, crack cocaine is the bad shit, right?
Yeah.
So if it's just cocaine, if they're saying cocaine, then I'm presuming it's the good stuff. It's the high-end stuff too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and look, at the end of the day, obviously the biggest thing about this, and obviously the biggest question we have is, well, where's Hunter Biden? Is he missing a few ounces of cocaine? Look, all jokes aside, it's most like, let's face it, it's going to be Hunter's, right? No one's sitting there thinking that Jill Biden or Biden himself is sitting there doing lines of coke, right? If it's anybody, it's going to be Hunter. The guy has a history of drugs. He literally had taken his laptop into a certain shop and forgot all about it, because he was so strung out on drugs. He's been checked into rehabs in the past. Let's face it, it's going to be Hunter's coke, right? Here's a controversial point. I don't really care. I know, like, a whole bunch of conservatives are going to be, like, banging the drum, like, oh my God, this cocaine is so bad, and all this sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But to be honest, between you, me, and the podcast, I don't really care. There are worse things that Hunter or Joe Biden have done. Like $10 million being smuggled out of Ukraine and 20 offshore bank accounts. That stuff is way worse than Hunter Biden like cutting loose with some coke. Um, like to be honest, I don't think I don't think it's as bad as what the conservatives are trying to make it out to be. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it might even just be some silly distraction thing, like for all I know. Like I don't know. It doesn't. It's a thing. I guess we shouldn't be surprised.
Hmm.
But although I do wonder, like, is it important as an issue?
Yeah, I don't really think it is, to be honest.
Hmm.
Like obviously the big thing about this, and the big takeaway from this is that that people, it's how the media has reacted to it that is really interest me.
Yeah.
Um, oh yeah, the media is doing some serious damage control. We'll get to that in a sec. But yeah,
It's interesting.
that's the big thing for me. Like people are trying to make out. Like there was one guy who posted on Twitter and he wrote, "Oh my god, like Trump had nuclear codes in Mar-a-Lago, but everybody's concerned about like some cocaine." And he took a photo of him with some cocaine around his nose. Um, it was actually flour, but he was making out it was coke. Like at the end of the day, it's more telling to me about how they're reacting to it all. Um,
Yeah, yeah. They gotta defend the president's son at every turn.
yeah, it's all about damage control, right? It's like like oh my god, like yeah, we can't let this come out. Um,
Yeah. Although if it was, a certain previous president,
yeah,
it must come out.
yeah, and that's the thing too, right? Is like if this was like Trump Jr. I just typed in another word instead of Coke. If it was like if it was Trump Jr. or something like that, then people would be losing it right now.
Yeah.
Um, but like yeah, it's yeah. Let me try and see this post. Cociane. Um. So just for you, Netscape, there are three guys: Alex Stein and two of his mates. One of them is covered in flour. Alex Stein is half covered in flour with a lot on his nose, and his mate's just standing there looking normal. And it's just the title of "We found the White House cocaine stash tonight." It looks like one of them's
Jeez.
literally taking a bath of it. Um, but let me see if I can find it. Was this actually I actually responded to him. Um, wow, have they deleted it? Might be under replies. Here it is here. So he's wrote, I don't know about you, but I'd rather find cocaine at the White House than nuclear secrets at Mar-a-Lago. Now this is by a Brian Kessington, right? Like this is like one of the Trump derangement syndrome guys, right? Um,
Yeah, I don't know if you heard my sigh just then, but yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's been a long day celebrating Independence Day, so my judgment might be off. And then he's taken he's got a photo here with him with a whole bunch of like flour around his nose, making out that it's cocaine. Now I did respond to this tweet, and I literally wrote, when I find it again, replies. I wrote, except there was no proof that there were nuclear secrets at Mar-a-Lago. Um,
Yeah, there were no nuclear secrets. It was just some paperwork, right? Like classified stuff.
yeah, to be honest, most
Yeah.
of the documents they found at Mar-a-Lago, from my understanding, was a were things like paperclip clippings and stuff like that. Um, Now, if people are going to turn around and say to me, like, hey, do you believe that Trump is extremely vain, clipped out every news clipping article about him and stuck him in a whole bunch of boxes? My answer is probably going to be yes. Shocker. I think Trump has a bit of an ego.
Oh, of course he wouldn't.
Who would have thought? So at the end of the day, I would say, yeah, it's very likely that he's actually gone through and done that, and that's exactly what I think it is. I think these clippings that most of these information that they've got in these boxes, because there was like stacks of boxes, and I think the document count for like top secret was only like 106.
Really?
Yeah, there wasn't as many as there's. They like to put all these photos of all these boxes around there,
Yeah.
but it was 106 documents, and to be honest, those 106 documents fit in about half a box. There wasn't a lot that he actually took. Not to mention the fact he's ex-president, he has the right to classify, declassify anything when he was president anyway. So yeah, no. But that's another video for another day.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just funny watching the mainstream media sort of try and do damage control for like Hunter Biden or what we presume is Hunter Biden's cocaine. Like then this guy here, like this Stein guy, he's not like a nobody. He's like he's got like 725,000 followers. Or sorry, 752,000 followers. Like his blue check mark, like this is like a journalist, tech entrepreneur, futurist. Like, like this guy's like, like media. And like he's like trying to justify like.
I've heard the name before too, like
Yeah.
Alex Stein. It rings a bell. I don't know where he's from, but
not Stein. So the person I'm talking about is this Brian Cassadanian, whatever.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Alex Stein is the conservative guy who is trying to make the joke, but this Brian Cassington guy, like I say, he's like establishment shill. He's like establishment media.
Yeah.
But as I say, it's funny watching the media like trying to bend over backwards to try and make like excuses for this cocaine, to which, like I said, I don't even think is a big deal. If like I said, look, if Hunter Biden wants to do cocaine, knock yourself out. How him doing strippers or him doing prostitutes, I don't care. I don't care who Hunter Biden sleeps with or doesn't sleep with. It's the same with Trump. It's the same with Bill Clinton. I don't care if Bill Clinton did Monica Lewinsky with a cigar in the White House.
I think all that matters is, do you do your president job properly? Like, that's all we care about. Just have good policy and run the country well.
Yeah.
After that, you can go do all the drugs and hookers you want. Who cares?
Like that's what I said at the time of like Bill Clinton getting caught. My response was, well, to be honest, I think the place is it better off, because at least while he was blowing up Monaco, he wasn't blowing up the Middle East. So
Yep.
yeah. But like I said, yeah, it's I look, I don't care who people sleep with. I don't care what drugs people do. I'm a libertarian by nature. If you wanted to go and do coke, go do coke. It's not for me. I would never do it. But you do you, boo, right?
Yep.
Anything else we wanted to talk about? Hey, John, how are you? Love the video you did on the thank you, on the Vegas mass shooter. Oh, that was years ago. Yeah. I remember that. How are you?
Wow, that's a throwback. Wow.
Yeah, it is. How are you, John? You good, buddy? But guys, yeah. As for that, is there anything else we want to sort of talk about this cocaine? Or we want to move on to the next subject?
Yeah, let's move on.